Imagine a world where your phone is so advanced it has replaced your wallet. This is the future of mobile technology, and the opportunity exists now to lead the fourth generation mobile revolution. My name is Claire Jackson and I am the lead partner on this project. You have brought us here today to help you make a decision on the direction of your mid-term telecommunications strategy. To make this decision, you must consider three key areas which each member of our group here at AAA Consulting will cover. You need to consider why this decision makes sense from a strategic point of view. I will present this to you. Understanding how to implement this plan will start with the financial justification that is so important for venture capital firms, which our investment specialist Nathan Rose will explain. Finally, our logistics and management experts Tim Vaughan and Scott Cardwell will present to you a detailed roadmap about the actions required to implement the changes in management, the forces acting on your business, and the creation of exit strategies. In brief, we recommend that you approach Red Sea Investments to gain a controlling stake in M1, then partner with M1, Siddiqui Capital's new software company, to develop an advanced fourth generation network. Meanwhile, restructuring M1's management to focus on a medium-term growth rather than short-term profits. Siddiqui Capital and Red Sea Investments have different reasons and benefits for undertaking this project. Red Sea Investments will be able to use the Singapore market in collaboration with technology provided by Siddiqui Capital to gain experience in the rollout of 4G. This learning can be applied to other operations owned by Red Sea Investments globally. Red Sea Investments stand to gain great dividends, capital appreciation, and a valuable addition to their investment portfolio. The benefits for Siddiqui Capital are the considerable monetary returns from your fee for these services and the future potential of leveraging your experience and credibility in 4G rollout. So given that Siddiqui Capital and Red Sea Investments both want to get into the Singapore telecommunications market, there are three alternatives available to purchase a majority share in. Our analysts show that M1 is the best investment, being focused on mobile technology as their primary source of revenue, and the limitation of being a Singapore-based company will make the management integration much easier. Their small size means that Red Sea Investments can realistically acquire it, and M1 also has the benefit of having a history and culture of innovation, and this acquisition will allow them to continue in this vein. So to take you through the acquisition and how it will be executed, I will now pass you on to Nathan Rose.
Thank you, Claire, for talking about the strategic reasons for our recommendation. I'm going to take you through the valuation of this takeover, which we're valuing at $1.15 billion. Any takeover is valued by the status quo valuation of the firm, the value of operating synergies, and the value of management improvements to give a total valuation. Our analysis of the free cash flows of the firm and the weighted average cost of capital of 12% for which we've used has valued Mobile One at 1.48 billion Singapore dollars as a status quo valuation. This translates to $1.65 out of their 895 million shares. The value of synergies, as we look to introduce the fourth generation mobile, is valued at an extra growth rate of free cash flows of 6.7% per year. And this works out to be 1.24 billion. 900 million comes from improvements in management, as which Scott will talk about later, as we improve the management to focus from short-term quarter-by-quarter profit into growing for the long term, growing their market share and growing their reach. Altogether then, we value the post-takeover of M1 at $3.63 billion. To gain the required 51% for control, Siddiqui Capital and RSI are going to need to look for major shareholders, which we've outlined here. We recommend that you begin looking to large investors who may wish to sell straight away. Any acquisition is going to require the acquirer to pay a premium over the market value. We've valued it at $3.63 billion, and because of the significant operating and management synergies, we believe that paying a premium is worthwhile. This graph here summarises the three values. So we've got $1.65 as the current market valuation. We recommend that Red Sea Investments bid $2.52 per share, which represents a 53% premium over market value, which should be enough to secure the 51% that they need for control. Overall then, for the $1.15 billion invested, a net present value is secured of $1.3 billion. at the recommended acquisition offer for a 51% stake. So to talk through how this acquisition will work in the future, I'll pass you on to our logistics expert, Tim Vaughan.
Thanks very much, Nathan, on touching on how the financial implications will work with the new M1 takeover. So I'm going to walk you through a few key points, namely the environmental forces and how this will affect the acquisition, the stakeholders' view, and lastly the change in management, which Scott will walk through with you through in a minute. Now, looking at the environmental forces, we've got technology, competitors, the economic and market forces that will all be in play during this acquisition. I don't have time to talk about all of them, but I'll just touch on a few. So in the pre-acquisition period, we've got to realise that there are a number of global competitors that are currently vying for this technology. 4G isn't just being developed by us, it's also being developed by companies such as Docomo in Japan and Verizon in the United States. So the race is on. We really need to get this technology on the ground, get any problems smoothed out over the next 6 months, and then take it global effectively. Now, in the acquisition and integration period, there will be an ironing out phase where we have to make sure that any problems that we do have initially are quickly sorted out so that it's working. 4G is working as effectively as it can. Now, the next big hurdle really is the IDA, which is the telecommunications arm of the Singaporean government, needs to approve the 4G network. Over the long term, we must also realise there will be a paradigm shift from 3G, which means 4G will effectively become standardised throughout the industry. Now, the downside to this is that we do lose our competitive advantage. However, having 4G will provide us with a product platform from which we can actually build new technology, such as 5G. Now, from a stakeholder's perspective, the core benefit for Red Sea Investments it's really big. Looking at the return on investment, the net present value will be $1.3 billion for Red Sea Investments, and that's just massive. Looking at risks though, which obviously are attached, is Red Sea Investments may get a lower than expected return on their investment. However, to mitigate this risk, we've come up with a number of steps, namely monitoring profitability ratios very, very carefully so we know exactly where we're at any present point in time. 6 monthly review meetings, where we can review where we've gone over the last 6 months and where we're heading. And lastly, implement an exit strategy, which Scott will walk you through in a minute. I'll now pass you on to Scott, who will talk about the new management of M1.
Thanks very much, Tim, for giving us a rundown of the environmental forces and some of the stakeholder views. I'm now going to take you into the company and look at some of the more internal issues, namely to do with the new management. Now, historically with takeovers, a whole new board of directors and management team will be put in replacing the old team. Now, what we're recommending here is that you actually keep your current CEO, Karen Coy, for 2 reasons. Mainly because she's got institutional knowledge of the company and the industry, and also because of her strong financial background. We thus recommend you need to implement a new CFO who potentially has a more sort of long-term focus, as Nathan has already mentioned, and is very experienced in the global investment industry. Now, we're looking to replace 2 board of directors, and with 1 from Red Sea Investments and 1 from Sidiki Capital, and we've also got some key performance indicators that we think the management team will need to aim for, but we can discuss those at a future meeting. So looking at the timeline, everything's happening now within the next 6 months. We've got a busy schedule. Right now we need to propose this idea to RSI, which we believe that they will accept, and we also need to come up with our proposal for the IDA to get it through the acquisition period. From acquisition, we've got a lot of work that needs to go into integration and teething out those management issues that always come with takeovers. From then, we've got those 6 monthly review points, as Tim just mentioned, by those black stars. And from about 12 months on, we can potentially look at taking this business model global. So, exit strategy number 1. First of all, we can look at if this company is producing a lot of revenues and the IP has increased, if there's other opportunities to invest in other industries or markets, as is the case with venture capitalist firms, we can always look at completely divesting the whole company and selling it off as a unit. Secondly, we can look at separating the units of the company and selling them off individually, as some of them might not be strategically aligned with the new strategy for M1. So, in summary, 4G technology is coming, and the opportunity to ride this wave is right now. We have presented a plan to you that confirms that Singapore is the great place to start as a test market for 4G technology, and we believe M1 is that company. For RSI, there's huge returns as a $1.3 billion NPV. For SC, we've got a platform for future growth with the technology. And as we've mentioned, there are key risks and things that we need to think about, but we'd love to chat with you more. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. So therefore, thank you very much for your time. We very much look forward to meeting with you in the future and discussing this case. Thank you.